we got done bullying that no-leg-having moon abomination, I started looking into gearing up a little bit more. I crafted up some Stardust armor, which gives me a whopping 1 extra minion slot. Really? Only 1? But whilst the Terra Prisma is a great weapon, it has an upgrade called the Elemental Axe, which I was trying to craft, but I did run out of cryonic bars, and I had to head into the snow to grab some more. After getting those, I crafted up the weapon as well as some Stardust wings. And I think you can guess what time it is now, can't you? Reforge time! Woo! As per the contract I signed when I downloaded this game, I am legally required to bitch about the Goblin Tinkerer. God, I hate him so damn much. After this, I take out a few years of pent-up anger on some bosses that I haven't fought yet. First up is the Ravager, so that I could get my hands on the Blood Pact to use in my new accessory slot. It's also around this time I figured out that I could merge my wings and boots together, which would free up another accessory slot. So I craft up the Absorber, which gives a few good debuffs on enemies when they touch me, and also some increased defense and healing. Pretty good. After the Ravager, I decided that my boss checklist has to be complete, and absolutely slaughtered all the bosses that I hadn't beat when I should have. First off Astrum Deus, then the Plaguebringer Goliath, and then the Great Sandshark, which, what I didn't know, drops a new whip that's slightly better than the Kaleidoscope. Another upgrade I didn't even know about, that I've got nonetheless. Nice. I headed down to Hell to get myself some Unholy Cores. I didn't actually know what they were or where to find them, but I needed them to craft the spawner for the Profane Guardians, so I assumed I would probably find them somewhere in the Profane Garden. But I got attacked by some new enemies whilst on my way there that dropped them, so I didn't even have to go all the way there. I head back up and I crafted it. I also replaced my Cryogen Sentry with the Crystal Staff from the Moonlord. I am feeling very good at this point, so I head down to the Profane Garden to summon them up, only to be greeted with a Pyromaniac's dream version of Flappy Bird that I definitely breezed through first try, no hit, only to realise that this right here is the moment where the difficulty starts to curve exponentially, because this was not fun. I really can't say the Profane Guardians were a boss I was expecting to struggle on very much. To be completely honest, I was expecting to breeze straight through them and then get violently touched by their mother, which I would only have half disliked. But alas, these flying, fiery Taco Bell shit balls that I am stuck dying to 78 times straight. I swear to Christ Almighty, when I'm done with these floating and murderous meatball-ass shit stains, I'm going to turn them into a footlong and feed it to their cocoonous mother. Remember kids, abusing mushrooms and pumping adrenaline is the only way you're ever going to be able to solve your life problems. Gonna be $1.50 with you here. What happened next was probably the most shocked I've been in this playthrough so far, because I was not expecting to do well against Providence after that, because, you know, you would expect the Guardians to be weaker than the main boss. I did it on the 3rd try. You know shit's getting good when you hear those DM Dokuro bells coming out, my fellas. Providence dropped me a new weapon, which is basically just the blade staff on 7 pounds of ketamine, so I start using that. Eula Bloom ore also starts to generate in the underground jungle after Providence, so I mine some of that up and craft some Tarragon armor. I also replace our Heart of Elements with the Providence equivalent, but don't worry, I keep them in my Vanity slot, so they're still with us. I head back down into the Profane Temple and make the soul-crushing realization that Cygnus has taken it over and made it into his Sigma Man Cave gym room. No, this is my man cave to turn into a dark soundproof room to play horrible Terraria playthroughs in. I summon up the Sigma Cygnus and he finds out very quickly that a knife and a shadow clone are no damn match for my 12 Mach 20 flying fire knives, and he falls dead very quickly. Using Cygnus's drops, I made this weird dragon summon that I barely used anyway. And then I went to summon up the Stormweaver, which was the most pathetic boss I have fought in the entire mod. He's pathetic. Like, I was genuinely half asleep fighting this thing, and I don't think I went under half health. Like, pathetic worm bitch. I head into the dungeon so that I can fight the Ceaseless Void, which is, quite frankly, my least favourite boss in the mod. Not because it's a bad fight. It's quite a good fight. I just despise not having my character in the centre of the screen, and that hurts my soul. I went back home to craft up the Cosmic Worm. Now, I was expecting, like 10, 20 deaths, and then to beat it with, like, a bit of difficulty, but, not that difficult, like most of the bosses so far. That is not what happened. This thing took me out the back of the shed where I was greeted with a full camera crew and cinema-grade lighting and was unconsensually made several videos for a certain website I can't name. Oh my good god, this was the worst thing ever. It was worse than Skeletron, worse than the Empress, worse than those fucktard meatballs that were way too strong. No, this right here is like the worst thing ever. It makes a concentration camp look like a refreshing holiday. Like, oh my good fuck. You think this is a hater? You think this dickhead is a hates the most? No, let me tell you how much I have come to hate since I began to fight this boss. I hope this purple spiny piece of a boss has to eat sand whilst being waterboarded and having his toenails peeled off slowly, and also having a carrot peeler ran down the length of his shaft and then getting salt rubbed in right afterwards in whatever boiling hot deepest pit of the lowest point in hell. That would only describe 1/1 billionth of how much hate this purple at this micro instant. Anyway, the only real redeeming thing about this fight is that Universal Collapse is an amazing song. It goes right about here on the tier list. Holy shit. Holy shit. 182 attempts. Holy shit. Oh my god. I craft myself up a Cosmolite anvil, and then I quickly realize I need the essence to craft anything useful. So I do the Frost and Pumpkin Moons, as well as the Solar Eclipse for the fragments. After this, I crafted myself an Asgard's Aegis, as well as the Nucleogenesis for the extra minion slots. I also crafted up the Elysian Traces and some silver armor. Then realized that I can upgrade my amalgamated brain into the amalgam. And I crafted that up, as well as a blood chalice from the Blood Pact. I also got myself a Mirror of Calandris and a Corvid Staff that I took straight into Yaron. All I'm gonna say is that Roar of the Jungle Dragon is peak. Why did bro drop 5,000 chicken nuggets? Also, your harem boss fight when? Now, I'm sure you'd all love to sit here and listen to me explain for the next 5 minutes of I got this upgrade and this upgrade and I crafted this new armor and I got this weapon, but who actually cares? I got Auric Tesla, I went and did all the trade-on stuff to get the XMX spawns, I crafted the Infernal Altar and summoned up the Supreme Calamitas, and it went about as well as you'd expect it to. You know, I got shockingly further than I thought. However, that gravestone that decided to interrupt the wall of the arena, and then I fell through, and yeah, that did not last long after that. No! Supreme Calamitas was not a fun fight. Or it was a fun fight at the start, but it turned into a very painful one. Devourer of God stylist. I'm pretty sure I did something around 140 attempts. We're gonna lock the fuck in and make it the last one too. Very mad towards the end because I kept getting to the maybe I wasn't joking. Dying to it. Oh god, maybe I really wasn't joking. On YouTube, somehow managed to make me I was joking. This. I'm in shock. Well, after that, fellas, there's only one more boss to go. And I'm not going to waste your time by explaining how many times I died to it, because shockingly it actually wasn't as many as you'd think. But without further ado, the Exomex, and the final boss of this run of the Calamity. Well, that's the end of this Terraria run, everyone. Um, I'd like to thank everyone who's watched the whole video and the whole series, to be fair. It's grown my channel quite a bit from where I started. Shout out to this guy who made a funny joke about me being waffle time on melatonin, because I found that funny, and I like waffle time, so yes, keep funny, yes, haha. Um, anyway, yeah, that'll be the end of this episode. Uh, please like, subscribe, share, do all the YouTube stuff. There will be some more videos coming up soon. As of right now, there's at least a Hollow Knight video. My first playthrough of that. I don't really know much about it. Trying that out. Got a Helldivers 2 video coming out, which I probably should have edited like 3 weeks ago when the update dropped, because it's from update night, but I'm lazy and I've been trying to kill bosses in Terraria. And I'm going to do a harder Terraria challenge at some point. You might have to give me a couple weeks for that one, because I'm kind of tired of the game at the time being. But there will be a For the Worthy Master Infernum on the Zenith Seed. Yes, I hate myself.